Good afternoon and welcome to the third in our June Publisher Roadshows. Today we're going to be hearing about lots of new and forthcoming young adult titles with a focus on books publishing between June and November. There's absolutely loads here and some really exciting new releases, so I'm sure you'll get lots of inspiration for your library and probably also identify a few titles that you'd like to read yourselves. Thanks all.
Hello, I'm Katie from Hachette Children's Group, and today I'll be presenting some of our YA titles publishing this autumn under our Tempest imprint. I don't have time to cover everything today, so do get in touch if you'd like to hear more about our list. The Heartstopper series stands today as one of the most inspiring publishing and screen successes of the past decade. But that success didn't happen overnight. Alice Oseman's journey began with a small webcomic that blossomed into the best-selling graphic novel series, cherished by readers of all ages and translated around the world. Those books became a lifeline for young people seeking gentle, affirming LGBTQ+ stories, and they built the foundation that later allowed the Netflix adaptation to flourish. And truly none of this would have reached the scale it has without librarians. Your enthusiasm for the books, your commitment to inclusive collections, and your willingness to put Heartstopper into the hands of readers who needed it most played a pivotal role in its rise. You championed the series long before it became a global phenomenon, and your support continues to shape its impact today. We're now approaching the biggest milestone in the Heartstopper journey, the publication of the final volume. After years of watching Nick and Charlie grow, stumble, learn, and love, readers are about to experience the conclusion Alice Oseman has been building towards since those early webcomic panels. There is so much anticipation for this release already, especially for the readers who discovered the series through your school libraries and kept returning for each new instalment. But the story's impact isn't ending here. Alongside the final book, the Heartstopper film will be released shortly after, bringing this beloved world to the big screen for the first time, inviting even more readers to discover the books that started it all. We can't wait to publish the final story of a series you championed from the very beginning, while also preparing for a fresh wave of excitement as new fans arrive through the film. It is really a rare and wonderful thing to witness a story grow across formats and generations, and Heartstopper will continue to be one of the most joyful examples. Thank you for all your support. You are invited to enter a deadly chess competition in the beautiful yet brutal world of the Fae. Will you accept? Alison Saft is back with an irresistible fantasy brimming with deadly competition, stunning yet cruel Fae, and an enemies to lovers sapphic romance. This is a mortal game. Get ready for an incomparable fantasy duology like nothing you've ever read before, featuring elemental weaving, political intrigue, and battles with bloodthirsty beasts. Two girls forced to share a body as they hunt and destroy beasts. The irony? They're the very beast that they must destroy. This is the first in an incredibly written and dazzlingly original YA fantasy duology, perfect for fans of Leigh Bardugo. We just know your YA readers will love Beastwoven. And finally, the Gallagher Girls have new covers. Rediscover the original Spy Girl, hit tween series with over 1 million copies sold worldwide. Perfect for 10 to 14-year-old readers who want fast-paced books with secret schools, slow burn crushes, and strong girl energy, with a heavy dose of cliffhangers and twists. That's all I have time for today, but please do get in touch if you'd like to request any reading copies, would like to talk about any activity for your libraries, or would just like to hear a bit more about our list. And you can always follow us at Tempest on Instagram to find out more about our upcoming books. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Emma from Faber, here to take you on a whistle-stop tour of our autumn YA titles. So what better way to kick off our YA titles for the autumn with the perfect romantic beach read? Lauren St. John's new YA rom-com Wild Till Summer follows Morgan Taylor, an American teenager who arrives to spend the summer with her British cousins. All anyone knows is that an accident has left her scarred inside and out, but Morgan is hiding a secret that she'll do anything to keep. Then the town's hottest surfer, Cal Hayward, saves her life, and suddenly the truth about her past feels harder than ever to hide. This is perfect for fans of The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's a perfect, clean teen novel bursting with romance, adventure, mystery, and horses. It's a really compulsive, explosive read, and it is out just in time for the summer holidays on the 2nd of July. So I think this is the moment we've all been waiting for. We've had Songlight, then we had Torchfire, and now we have the highly anticipated Flarestorm, the third and final book in the Songlight trilogy. I know a lot of readers, both students, teachers, and librarians alike, are very excited to see how this epic trilogy will end, and everyone will know soon enough, as the book is going to be out on the 22nd of October this year. So in this epic finale, we start where we left off in Torchfire with all of our beloved characters. Lark is buried deep underground. The Brethren want Nightingale to be their puppet. Petra is flying over uncharted land. Rye and Piper both find themselves at the mercy of the Sealanders, whilst Swan is facing her greatest betrayal yet. As revolution storms the city, a far greater threat looms, and with life and death in the balance, love, trust and loyalty are put to the ultimate test. Songlight, Book 1, of course, won the YA Book Prize earlier this year. It was nominated for the Carnegie Medal and longlisted for the Brantford Bowes Awards and published to enormous critical acclaim. Reviews are repeatedly saying that Torchfire is even better, and I can assure you that Flarestorm does not disappoint. This book, as well as the series, I will say, is recommended for a slightly older reader. It does contain some slightly more adult content in comparison to Wild Horse Summer, which can definitely be read from 12 up. So that was just the whistle-stop tour through our YA titles for the autumn. If you have any questions or would like any more information about either of those books, then please do let either myself or my manager Sarah know. Both our contact details are on the screen now. Thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to Bloomsbury YA's Publisher Summer Roadshow for the YA category. First of all, we have the wonderful fantasy rom-com from Helen Comerford, The Cafe at the End of the World. This publishes on the 30th of July 2026 in paperback. Love, lattes and world-ending drama. Life just got a lot less cozy for Liddy, teenage daughter of death. This is the cozy rom-com fantasy obsession that you didn't know you needed. The end is brewing. Love, lattes and world-ending drama. Come for the cinnamon rolls, stay for the apocalypse. Liddy, the daughter of death, a retired rider of the apocalypse, is obsessed with cozy. Cozy books, cozy job in the family cafe, cozy low drama life. But then secretive, attractive, and above all annoying Kai bursts into the cafe in a flurry of autumn leaves with secrets that threaten to change everything. Big, cozy things are coming for Liddy, whether she likes it or not, and working with Kai might be the only way to protect her town, provided she doesn't fall for him first. Helen Comerford is a black, mixed-race British debut, and is passionate about Black, British and mixed heritage representation. She centers her diverse cast of characters in narratives that they would typically be excluded from, and celebrates their joys, strengths, and everyday teenage experiences. She loves all things Marvel, all things superpowered, feminism, and chocolate raisins. This is a clean teen book, which is perfect for the lower end of the score from ages 11 all the way up to 18. And Helen is absolutely brilliant at events. Next, we have Bridget and Gabe Are Not Okay by Lex Croucher, publishing on the 13th of August 2026. This is the brilliant sequel to the best-selling Gwen and Art Are Not in Love. Return to Camelot in the much-anticipated follow-up to that New York Times best-selling book. They fell in love. They won a great battle, and it should have been happily ever after. But now Camelot's famous couples have fallen apart. Newly crowned King Gabriel is having panic attacks in cupboards in between council meetings. He can't tell Arthur just how not okay he is, so he set him free to find love with someone who can get through the day without breaking down. Bridget has lost her spark for sparring, forfeiting again and again in the lists. When she's invited to join Gabriel's round table, she hopes it will be the change she needs, but trying to navigate the post-happily ever after reality of her relationship with Gwen, when Bridget no longer feels like the dashing knight Gwen fell in love with, feels impossible. With the kingdom still reeling from an attempted uprising, and rumours sightings of the Holy Grail, the questing beast, and the Green Knight happening across the country, the gang depart on a PR tour destined for disaster. Can Gabriel be the king his country deserves? Can Bridget get her jousting groove back? And will they find their way back to the courtly love that once seemed fate? Lex Croucher grew up in Surrey, reading a lot of books and making friends with strangers. Now, with a background in social media for NGOs, Lex writes historical-ish rom-coms centering queer characters for teenagers. And finally, we have Sky Dancers by Chris Fick, publishing on the 13th of August 2026. This is another clean teen 11-plus story of dangerous enchantment sorcery from Carnegie shortlisted Chris Fick. When Isla was a girl in Cornwall, she lived in the old cliff-top lighthouse. She slept where the lamp once shone over the dark sea. In her dreams she flew over cliffs and steeples, fields and towns, and along the shoreline, up to the stars, down to the inky sea. And Caleb and Ari were always there to help her. Farmers, fishermen, and village folk saw a witch, an angel, a ghost, a mermaid. Then Isla's dream stopped. Many years later, Haley Seaborn moves to the same Cornish village. She's a dreamer and skilled acrobat and outcast. Visiting the old deserted lighthouse, she uncovers tales of strange sightings and unnerving events, and she's fascinated by them. Clues lead her to an eccentric old woman living in a remote cottage, and a story of deadly magic unfolds. Chris Fick is a graduate of the Bath Spa MA in Writing for Young People. In between writing and teaching, Chris works for a well and dolphin conservation charity and is a member of Authors for Oceans. He lives near Bath with his wife and daughter and wrote Girl, Boy, Sea, which was shortlisted for the 2020 Carnegie Medal. Additionally, we have Rowan by Beck Hogan. This is the third story, laced with fairy beauty, set in the Shadow Mountains under the ominous light of a single star. Many years ago, Rowan's ancestor followed a white hare and disappeared without trace. Since then, her descendants have warned the women of the family against the magic of the cunning, shape-shifting hare, known often to be witches in disguise. Centuries later, Rowan, heartbroken and yearning to escape, ignores the warnings and follows the hare to a new world. She finds herself in the mysterious yet beautiful realm of the Shadow Mountains, underneath the green light of a single bright star. Entranced by its beauty, she is lured deeper into the embrace of the fairy realm. But the hare is revealed as a witch, and all its promises of happiness and healing turn to dust as Rowan finds herself a pawn in an ancient rivalry between witch and fairy lord, entwined in the fickle nature of Fae. As the danger beneath the glamour around her grows, Rowan will need all her skills to survive. Raised on a healthy diet of fantasy and fairy tales, Bex Hogan spends hours lost in daydreams. Writing her stories down was a natural progression, and she enjoys sharing her time between the real world and escape into her imagination. Rowan is the third novel in the Fairy Realm series, a series of gothic, clean teen books featuring fantasy and romance, perfect for fans of The Cruel Prince, but without the more intimate scenes that probably aren't as appropriate for schools. And finally, really exciting in 2027, we have Aphrodite, Ancient Goddess, Modern Girl by Marilyn Esther T. This is a YA graphic novel following Aphrodite, the goddess of love, in the modern world as she does her matchmaking thing and gets couples together, but also wants to be together with someone else herself. And it follows her journey in what I think is one of the most wonderful, colourful graphic novels out there. Also publishing, we have 12 Dark Hours, which is set in the same world as Seven Deadly Thorns, which is also publishing in paperback. Natural Selection, which is the American would you choose the bear over the man female rage story. These Satisfiers is publishing in paperback this year. Ghost by Finbar Hawkins also publishes. The Ocean Will Paint Me Blue by Zulfa Katu, who wrote As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, is also publishing this year, as well as two new books from American authors, Kaylin Bayron and Renee Watson. Tell the Ghost I'm Gone is a perfect teen horror story, and Everything New Again is the perfect contemporary story for the autumn. Thank you so much for listening. Any questions and any queries, please do email deborah.ogonoiki@bloomsbury.com.
Hi guys, so my name's Grace and I look after the marketing and publicity at Firefly Press. I just wanted to take a few moments to run through a couple of our young adult titles that we're publishing between June and November this year. So first up we have Behind the Sky by Megan and Harad Hunter, which we're publishing on the 1st of October. So this is perfect for fans of Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow, and it's a kind of funny story by Ned Vizzini. So this gorgeous YA novel tells the story of two very different LGBTQIA plus teens who meet at a psychiatric facility, forming an unexpected friendship that transforms the trajectory of their lives. So it follows 16-year-old Dayan, who wants to be something that doesn't exist, normal. He wants to feel things in the same way as everyone else, to ride the school bus without having a panic attack, to have real conversations with friends and not imagined ones with dead artists. There's also 17-year-old Anest, who has long abandoned her quest for normality. She doesn't think that she deserves to be here on this doomed planet, so she doesn't really care if everyone else thinks she's weird and obnoxious. Well, maybe everyone apart from that girl she can't stop staring at in group therapy. So these two very different teens meet at a psychiatric facility, but their friendship doesn't really take off until they find themselves stuck in the same toilet stall at a birthday party. They support each other unfailingly, but they're unable to turn that same affection towards themselves and continue to grapple with the self-hatred that threatens to drown them. So can Anest and Dayan find a way to free themselves from the weight of normality and together realise that an entire sky of possibilities is waiting for them? So this is a gorgeous kind of platonic love story, we're calling it. It has alternating chapters from each character's perspective, and it is really, really gorgeous. The Welsh language version of this book actually won Wales Book of the Year, making Megan the youngest person to ever win that prize. And Manon Steffan Ross, who has read the Welsh language edition, called it the best, most powerful novel that she has read in years. Masterpiece. So Megan is based in Cardiff and works as an author and screenwriter, and is very keen to do events, and is also open to doing, Q&As and blog posts. So we've actually just got some proofs of Behind the Sky in the office. So do just ping me an email if you'd be interested in receiving one. So next up we have Dolores Mackenzie and The Dead of Winter, written by Yvonne Banham. This is the thrilling finale in the Dolores Mackenzie trilogy, absorbing gothic spookiness for readers aged 11 plus.
So this is the highly anticipated finale to the shape-shifting, ghost-filled, paranormal whodunit series, Dolores Mackenzie. We've got a comprehensive marketing campaign planned for the author with strong social media presence and an events campaign. So when tragedy strikes close to home, Dolores, Prudence and Gabriel are throwing into their darkest mystery yet. In this adventure, we see Dolores travelling from Edinburgh Old Town all the way to Norway, which is the home to the paranormal High Council they believe responsible for Temperance's murder. But when Dolores's necromancy gift under intense scrutiny and Prudence's shape-shifting is banned, they need to keep under the radar, especially from the devious Grandmaster Vikander, who is watching their every move. So Yvonne is based in Stirlingshire. She is incredibly keen to do events. She's very proactive with these. And especially she'll be doing a big slew of them to promote the series as a whole, since obviously this is the last book in the series. She has lots of workshops planned, and hopefully we'll be having some copies of this book in soon, so we should be able to send out review copies or at least a PDF review copy. So yeah. So that's it from me. Please do get in touch with any questions.
Hello, I'm Miles Tarico Burks. I'm an artist from California in the United States, and I am the creator of Encore. Encore started out as a webtoon, and I was mostly inspired by being amidst the pandemic in my senior year of high school and missing a lot of things about it. Like, you got stuck with all the least fun parts of school, and I especially missed theater. So I kind of poured all my longing for seeing my friends, going back to theater, into this webcomic where my characters got to be in a theater classroom and be with all their friends and have that senior year experience. I was also, of course, inspired by my favorite romance tropes. I love childhood friends to lovers. I love when they fight a little bit. And I really just wanted to give a character that looked like me and a friend group that looked like mine the chance to experience this coming of age romance just as any other romantic lead would get to. I think for any readers that enjoyed graphic novels like Heartstopper or Bloom or Real Friends, and lastly a big inspiration like Always Raining Here, will definitely get a kick out of and enjoy Encore as well. And last but not least, a huge thank you to all the librarians for everything that you do. I think now more than ever, it's so important that we have good libraries and all of you awesome and amazing librarians. So thank you. Thank you for keeping reading accessible, and thank you for making sure that books like mine can reach people from everywhere, all over the place. So thank you. I hope you enjoy Encore. I hope you enjoy reading it as much as I enjoyed making it. And I hope you love them. I love them. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jill Sims, author of Lila Mackay is Very Misunderstood and Lila Mackay Finds Life Very Unfair, which are my first two young adult novels. I suppose the inspiration behind the books was partly drawing on my own somewhat disastrous teenage love life in the 90s, when there was no problem so great that the Just 17 problem pages couldn't solve it, and also my somewhat bafflement at the very different dating world for the teenagers of today, and the contrasts between the two, and also in many ways the similarities. Lila Mackay Finds Life Very Unfair is a story of, I suppose, first heartbreak and second chances and friendship. And I think it would be great for anyone who is looking for a little bit of gentle romance, a lot of comedy, some chaos and mishaps along the way. Maybe fans of Katie Kirby who are looking for something a little bit more grown up that they've aged out of. Possibly even fans of Adrian Mole. And I'm so thrilled to be able to be making this video for you, because I have to say, when I was at school, the library was always my very favourite place to go. I wasn't terribly keen on the rest of school, but lunchtimes and break times in the library were always the best part of the day. So thank you so much to all the school librarians out there for everything you do to get kids reading, to inspire them with books, and hopefully to give them a lifelong love of reading and books. So thank you very much.
Harperfire has a host of exciting new YA titles coming this autumn, from breathtaking debuts to highly anticipated follow-ups and even our first non-fiction title. This July we have Mirrorwoven, a gorgeous new sapphic court romantasy. This sparkling debut full of music and magic marks a standout new voice in YA fiction. Melissa Poet returns to the world of her debut The Enemy's Daughter in this heart-stopping dystopian fantasy. Publishing in early August, prepare to be swept away by Poet's reimagining of Robin Hood like you've never seen it before in A Thief to Die For. This September sees Harperfire's first non-fiction YA title, They Called Us Witch. From a Haitian voodoo priestess who fought for freedom to a Japanese shaman queen who brought peace to her land, discover the stories of 10 remarkable figures who shaped their cultures and inspired change with their magic and wisdom. The stories are expertly brought to life by stunning illustrations throughout. Return to the world of Divergent in the Sixth Faction, the first in an exciting new duology from best-selling author Veronica Roth. Set in an alternate reality, where a tragedy at the choosing ceremony results in Triss choosing a faction other than Dauntless, this is Divergent as you've never seen it before. October brings us the paperback of the instant New York Times bestseller Queen of Faces, one of Harperfire's biggest launches of 2026. Hugely unique and ambitious, with rich world-building and high-stakes adventure, Queen of Faces will sweep you into a world of body-swapping, murder, magic, and wild imagination. The follow-up to Kira Azar's best-selling court fantasy Thorn Season publishes this October. Sharper's Court returns to the world of Daradon, with even more heart-racing action, incredible twists, and sizzling romance. Thank you for listening, and please do get in touch with us if you have any questions or would like to hear more about what we have planned for 2026.
Hello, welcome to Scholastic's upcoming YA highlights. We're so excited to have some wonderful authors talking about their upcoming books here at the SLA Publisher Roadshow. So, first up, Winners and Liars by Lima Omatoni, out in June 2026.
I'm Alima Omatoni, and I'm the author of Everyone's Thinking It, my award-winning debut novel. My second novel is called Winners and Liars. Winners and Liars is a YA contemporary mystery. It's described as Knives Out meets Dead Poets Society. It tells the story of Derry and the Kenfield set, who have to compete in a series of games to win their favorite professor's stately home and multi-million-pound fortune. This story was a blast to write. I really wanted to write something fun and exciting and that incorporated my history degrees, and I really hope you enjoy reading it.
Never Last by Sue H. Cunningham, out in August.
Hi, I'm Sue H. Cunningham. I'm the author of Totally Deceased and Cloud9, and I want to tell you a little bit about my new young adult book coming out in August. It's called Never Last. It's an action thriller with a supernatural slant. It's about a group of families, near immortal families called the Perpetuals, who live within ordinary contemporary society. They are fast healing and can live for centuries. And as a result, their teenage children tend to participate in quite extreme sports because they're unable to injure themselves. When 16-year-old Gracie finds out that, unlike the rest of her family, she has a rare genetic quirk which makes her mortal, her parents prepare to wrap her in cotton wool. She manages to persuade them to allow her one last international trip with her friends, and it's then that she discovers that her ex-boyfriend Artie has a really dangerous secret which could threaten to expose the entire Perpetual community. It's Never Last, coming in August.
Are You Still Watching by Kelechi Okafor, out in September.
Hello, my name is Kelechi Okafor, and I'm the author of Are You Still Watching? What do you do when one day you look in the mirror and you see an alien from another planet that tells you that your life is being broadcast on their planet, but because it's dropping in ratings, because it's a bit boring, they're going to cancel it. And if that gets cancelled, then you essentially disappear. What do? Well, you've got to make your life more exciting, obviously. So we go on this journey with Dorcas to see what she actually ends up doing in order to live a life that she's actually proud of. I hope that you enjoy reading the stories, and I can't wait to hear what you think.
Apocalypse Baby by Anna Penn.
Hi, my name is Anna Penn and I'm the author and illustrator of Apocalypse Baby, a queer horror romance graphic novel about two boys trying to look after a baby in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. It follows Max, an autistic teen who's been surviving the wasteland alone since the outbreak began, and Kieran, who had been living safely in a farming community until the monsters called ferals broke in, when they discover baby Abby and they decide they have to get her to safety. The idea first came to me during the COVID lockdown, which also felt a bit apocalyptic. In a time when a lot of people were feeling very alone, I wanted to write a hopeful story about how complete strangers can work together and help each other despite seemingly impossible odds. This story is particularly important to me because I was diagnosed as autistic myself while writing this book, which really informed how I wrote Max, and I hope it helps other autistic people feel a little more represented in fiction. Apocalypse Baby is coming out on the 8th of October, and I can't wait for readers to meet Max, Kieran and baby Abby.
Out in October. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any further questions, please do reach out to us at publicity@scholastic.co.uk.
Hi, I'm Rob, Head of PR at Anderson Press, and I'm going to take you through 3 exciting YA titles publishing this summer and autumn. The Party by Ben Tomlinson captures those messy, awkward, hilarious teenage years perfectly. His years working in youth theatre has led him to really understand the nuances of teenage boys. This can be seen in his debut, Loverboy, and here again in The Party. Noah has a really tight group of friends, but he's feeling stuck. Why are he and his mates never invited to parties? Will he ever be able to tell popular Saskia how he feels about her? As Noah's 17th birthday draws closer, he plucks up the courage to speak to Saskia and invites her to his party. Only problem is, he's not allowed one. But then one weekend, his parents go away. Ben Tomlinson does fantastic events and workshops and is based in London. This year marks 10 years since Susan Nielsen's We Are All Made of Molecules was first published in the UK. This unsentimental yet heartwarming, deep yet hilarious deep dive into a blended family has captured readers' hearts for a decade. Personally, it's the book that made me fall in love with Anderson Press's YA books when I first joined in 2019. Meet Stuart. He's geeky, gifted, and sees things a bit differently to most people. His mum has died and he misses her all the more now he and Dad have moved in with Ashley and her mum. Meet Ashley. She's popular, cool, and sees things very differently to her new family. Her dad has come out and moved out, but not far enough. And now she has to live with a freakazoid stepbrother. Stuart can't quite fit in at his new school, and Ashley can't quite get used to her totally awkward home, which is now filled with some rather questionable decor. And things are about to get a whole lot more mixed up when these two very different people attract the attention of school hunk Jared. If you're not familiar with this book or Susan Nielsen's books, then I envy the journey you're about to go on when you first dive into her novels. Susan is based in Canada, but is often in the UK. This is on NetGalley if you are on there and want to request an early reading copy of this new edition. Kitty and Mary is the exciting follow-up to Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen's superfans Julia Gray and Imogen Russell-Williams. 6 months after Pride and Prejudice, Mary is stuck at home with her parents. So when an opportunity arises that will take her to faraway India, Mary jumps at the chance for independence and adventure. Meanwhile, Kitty has been flitting between the estates of her sisters, searching for a suitable husband at every ball and dinner. When Mary sets off to India, Kitty's disappointment at returning home is tempered by the revelation that a new tenant has come to Netherfield Park, handsome poet Mr. Whittaker. He seems like the perfect husband for Kitty, but will he end up being everything she hoped? Capturing Austen's wit and social commentary, best friends and co-authors Julia and Imogen build from Pride and Prejudice and tell Kitty and Mary's story through letters to one another and journal entries. Julia is writing as Kitty, with Imogen as Mary. The book is being bolstered by a major marketing and PR campaign with lots of events from Julia and Imogen. Please do be in touch if you'd like to secure a proof copy or would be interested in events from the two of them. Julia is the author of The Other Life, Little Liar and Aida. She's the lead writer for Wonderbly and is based in Oxfordshire. And you might know Imogen as the children's literature critic for The Guardian. She's also written children's non-fiction, and this is her first novel for young adults. She is based in London. Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed looking at some of those books there. And if you are interested in anything to do with those, please do drop me an email at rob@andersonpress.co.uk.
Hello there, my name is Danny Price and I work at Rock the Boat in the marketing and publicity team. This presentation is about the forthcoming teen, young adult fiction books that we have coming out in the last 6 months of this year. If you have any queries or comments, please contact me at the email at the end of the slideshow. We'd love to hear from you. To take us off, we begin with the July publication of Peter Bognani's How to Lose Yourself Completely. This is a hugely compelling adventure story with a moving, thoughtful look at grief and mental health. After his brother Sean dies, Case struggles with anxiety and agrees to join a wilderness therapy trip. When their counsellor disappears in the wilderness, this group of troubled teens must work together to survive in the woods. Along the way, they form unexpected friendships and help each other begin to heal. The story combines outdoor adventure, a survivalist story with genuine, heartfelt and emotional healing through the characters bonding after their trauma. It's a captivating book and a wonderful read for teens who may be experiencing themselves their own worries and anxiety. It's perfect for fans of Jandy Nelson and John Green. Next up, we have All the Queen's Curses by Alyssa Hollingsworth. This is a gripping YA romantasy of female strength, love and hope that offers a lot of inclusion and representation throughout. It is the retelling of an old Orkney Island fairy tale, and it's set in a stunning, atmospheric Scottish setting. Kit has been cursed into a body that isn't her own, and Idris has been cursed to dance to death. If they want to break their curses, they'll need to work together. Kit and her stepsister Catherine have been close ever since their parents' royal marriage brought them together, but living under the king's roof is not safe for Kit, and illness is spreading through her joints. Her mother tells her it is a curse. When a woman in their family is hurt, they fall into a wasting sickness. When an enchantment switches Kit and Catherine's bodies, Kit must find a way to make things right. But can she really bear to go back to her wasting body? This is a retelling of the Orkney Islands fairy tale Kate Crackernuts. It contains romance, fae folk, curses worked and curses broken. Some key features of the title is that it has disability rep, and this is based on the author's own personal experience of rheumatoid arthritis. It has a BFF stepsisters, there's some body switching, there's a morally ambiguous fae, there's wild landscapes and magical ballrooms, and I'd say this was perfect for fans of Holly Black, Alison Saft and Erin A. Craig. This book comes out in August and we're really excited about the publication. Alyssa is based near Cardiff and she would love to reach more readers with this book, and she plans a proof drop through Wales, so any Wales-based librarians, do get in touch. Rock the Boat are thrilled to bring this webtoon sensation Marionetta into print as a graphic novel this autumn. It's by Hooky creator Miriam Bonestrateur. A mysterious circus, a runaway friend, a dangerous deal. Julia Lazaret is happy with her honest, predictable life, but when her best friend Camille convinces her to visit a travelling circus, they both get more than for which they bargained. Thrust into a world of secrets, magic and death, Julia finds herself presented with the most horrific of deals in order to survive and save her friend. Miriam Bonestrateur is a New York Times best-selling author of Hooky,
Hooky was a huge word-of-mouth global graphic novel hit with preteens. It went round my son's school like a wildfire, and all of them loved it. Marionetta is currently a massive webtoon hit, so it's all online, and what we hope is that fans will want print copies to keep and pore over and share with their friends. It's perfect for readers who are now ready for older themes, some romance, themes of death, grief and darkness, and some desperate dealing. Vanessa Tull's expressive illustrations help bring the characters' emotions, suspense and fantasy elements to life. It's really immersive visually and really immersive storytelling. The series also appeals to readers who enjoy mysterious circus-inspired worlds. Who doesn't? Morally complex characters, romance mixed with danger and intrigue, and fast-paced storytelling with dramatic reveals. There's themes of identity, grief and belonging. It's out in October and we have PDF samplers available if you'd like an early read. Thanks. Dream Weaving by O.O. Sangiomi. Welcome to Tanglewood, where prestige always has a price. Deja Freeman has always been told that she could never be a weaver, but magic runs in her blood. When she enrolls at the prestigious Tanglewood Preparatory School, she finds herself walking the same hallowed halls that claimed her mother. Popular and driven, Toby Ekedeu has her sights set on becoming junior class president, even if it means confronting the institutional prejudice that seeks to exclude girls like her. When Deja and Toby experience strange dreams that appear to be entwined, they uncover a string of deaths, beginning with the mysterious disappearance of Tanglewood's first black female student. Joined by a motley crew of friends, the girls must entangle the school's dark history before the administration, or something far more sinister, catches up with them. This is a pulse-pounding contemporary fantasy that interrogates themes of race and prejudice against the backdrop of an elite boarding school. It's the first in a duology from British Fantasy Award winner and 2025 Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree O.O. Sangiomi. Here's O.O. to tell you more about what inspired her to write the book.
Hi, my name is Oyin and I write as O.O. Sangiomi. Give me today my daily bread. I wrote Dream Weaving while I was a student at Princeton University, and I feel that I gave pieces of my own experience to the novel's two dual point of views. There's Deja, who goes from a small town in the South to one of the most prestigious schools in the US and has to learn how to navigate that culture shock. And then there's Toby, who, as a child of Nigerian immigrants, has been conditioned to always try for academic excellence above all else. Woke up this morning with a mind. Writing this novel during the pandemic was an especially unique experience because during this time the US underwent a kind of social reckoning. Elite institutions like Princeton were, for the first time, forced to confront less savory aspects of their past. As a student, I got to witness firsthand how the image that these institutions try to present to the public do not always align with the ways that they treat Black students and students of color behind the scenes. And I'm holy. Dream Weaving explores these themes of institutional prejudice and what it is like to not only try to exist but also thrive in a space that was never truly made for you. This novel also shows how ultimately surviving these types of experiences is best accomplished through friendship, and how it is through friendship that Black kids in particular can find comfort, community, and even some magic in an otherwise hostile environment. I hope you enjoy it. The darkest valley, I will fear no love.
The Way We Become by Amber Smith. Eden and her fellow survivors look to the future in this powerful story of justice, autonomy and healing, told from multiple points of view. This is the powerful conclusion to the Way I Used to Be trilogy from international best-selling author Amber Smith. For those that don't know the Way I Used to Be series, it is a coming-of-age series for young adult readers. It's about mental health in the aftermath of trauma. In the first book, Eden is raped by her brother's best friend, and she spirals downwards through the shame of what has happened. This third book in the series is now about the bond between female victims as they learn to reclaim their voices from the men they've suffered at the hands of. The Way I Used to Be is a huge book with the hashtag The Way I Used to Be having over 75 million views on TikTok. So it's really resonated with a young social media audience in a big way. And the series has sold over 233,000 copies. Praise for The Way I Used to Be series, a courageous, necessary and beautiful book by Catherine Glasgow. A raw novel that'll stay with you long after you finish, BuzzFeed. This publication is in October, and we are hoping that Amber Smith will be visiting the UK this autumn to help promote the series to fans. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. Here's our contact details, and don't hesitate to get in touch if you have any questions, queries or requests. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shania Shields, a press officer at Penguin Random House Children's, and I'm thrilled to be sharing with you our YA highlights for June to November 2026. Introducing an edge-of-your-seat reverse heist thriller about a teen spy who must outsmart a team of criminals in order to free a building full of innocent hostages and herself. Augusta Pine masterfully weaves together the undercover secrecy and thrills of the Natural series, the killer twists and turns of Five Survive, and the futuristic setting of Cyberpunk 2077. Plus, Augusta herself is the kind of clever, brave, and super snarky heroine all readers will enjoy. Set in a familiar but futuristic world, sprinkled with technological advances that are easy to imagine and well ingrained, making this an accessible read with a layer of social commentary. A totally fresh and distinct high concept novel that's expertly plotted, well paced, brimming with action and clever twists. This will keep you guessing until the very end. I'm excited to introduce to you an epic new fantasy saga from best-selling author Lynette Noni, the #1 best-selling author of over 1 million books around the world. Dubbed this year's must-read YA fantasy by best-selling author of Fourth Wing Rebecca Yarros, this is one you don't want to miss out on. Set on a magically enshrouded island, Shadow Reaper is full of every YA fantasy lover's favourites, including the Chosen One trope, an enemies to lovers romance, a mysterious villain wreaking havoc, and plot twists you won't see coming. With the epic fantasy world of Leigh Bardugo's Six of Crows, the swoon-worthy romance of Lynette's popular The Prison Healer trilogy, and the accessible storytelling of Lauren Roberts' Powerless, Shadow Reaper has all the hallmarks of the very best of YA fantasy, without the spice levels you find in the older end of YA fantasy. A reimagining of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera, just in time for its 40th anniversary, spotlighting Christine Daae as she rises to fame while torn between love, ambition, and the haunting secrets of the opera house, from the #1 New York Times bestselling author Erin A. Craig. Phantom is a timeless gothic love story, and sweeping gothic romance is what Erin does best. Discover Christine Daae's story like never before with this new nuanced take. This novel will bring Christine's emotions, motivations, and agency to the forefront, elevating this fantastic classic to create a strong, independent protagonist that YA and crossover readers will love, whether they're Phantom fans or not. Prepare for all of the stunning yearning and dark romance sure to make Book Talk swoon. This is perfect for introducing the next generation of theatre and music lovers to this most iconic of musicals. The eagerly anticipated new YA Greek myth reimagining from B. Fitzgerald, TikTok superstar and triple Sunday Times bestselling author of Girl Goddess Queen. B's writing and storytelling goes from strength to strength with each new story. And as usual, B has put her own unique spin on the story of Ariadne and Dionysus's mortality, defying love, the labyrinth and the Minotaur, combining brilliant wit and humour with a genuinely powerful and thoughtful narrative. This sensational book combines a unique, immersive world with characters that leap off the page, and romance that has Aphrodite-approved levels of sizzle and yearning. And if you can't wait until September, the paperback of Beautiful Evil is out now. Murder is an art, and she's the next masterpiece. From Cynthia Murphy, the best-selling author of book talk sensation Win, Lose, Kill, Die, comes an addictive killer thriller with a horror twist. It's super accessible, very contemporary, and we have Cynthia on the ground in Manchester, lined up for school visits, writing workshops and book clubs. We follow Fliss, an aspiring crime journalist, as she investigates a case of copycat murders seemingly connected to a cursed painting. But can she unravel the clues before she becomes the murderer's next muse? Perfect for fans of Bill Wood's Let's Split Up and the kind of pulse-pounding thriller that will go down a treat in schools, with art-obsessed teenagers or anyone who just loves original twists and tension piled on tension. We'd also like to share 2 of our upcoming graphic novels from 2 of our biggest authors, Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman and The Dream Thieves by Maggie Seabotter. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Fritha from Usborne. I'm going to talk you through Usborne's YA titles coming this July to November. First up, the eagerly anticipated new thriller from Farida Abike Iyamide. This is an unputdownable read, pitched as The Inheritance Games meets Knives Out. I'm going to hand over to Farida to tell you what you can expect from her new YA coming this July.
Hello, I'm Frida Abike Iyamide. My book, The Heirs, is a thrilling new murder mystery about the wealthy Button family, more specifically the genius siblings in this famous family, who were brought up by their very strict father under his very strict Button method. The very method that turned them all into young prodigies. But when their father is suddenly murdered at the 10th anniversary of his annual prodigy ball, it is up to Mr. Button's genius heirs to figure out who murdered their father. But with lies and secrets everywhere, it is hard to know if they can trust anyone, even each other. If you're a fan of puzzles, smart teenagers, and murder, then watch out for The Heirs.
Get ready to scream for a new Holly Bourne.
Hello everybody, my name is Holly Bourne and I am thrilled to introduce my next book for teenagers, which is called And Then We Screamed, which is about a social contagion mass hysteria event that takes place in a small school in a small town where one by one all the girls in that school start screaming. How to describe this story in 5 words? Eerie, timely, funny, moving, and vibes. The 2 main characters are Clover and Brody. Clover and Brody work together on the school newspaper, and they are being interviewed 5 years later after this contagion has taken place, where a documentary crew has come back to try and work out what's happened. Clover is so in love with Brody, she's deranged. She's just basically pretending to be a newspaper reporter to try and impress him. She is starting to get very, very scared though that she is going to catch the screaming as it kind of spreads like wildfire through her town. Whereas Brody, all he wants to do is be a news journalist. He can't believe he lives in a boring town where nothing happens, and when the first cheerleader starts to scream, he can't believe his luck that he's kind of finally somewhere where something interesting is happening, and him and Clover kind of team up to kind of explore what is causing all the girls in this perfectly idyllic small town to start screaming. And speaking of this town, the book is set in this small US town called Maple Lakes, where every year Instagram influencers descend on it because it's got beautiful autumn leaves and this incredible like pumpkin patch. You know, it's just this kind of idyllic, gorgeous place that becomes a horror story. That's sort of where the word vibes comes from. It's a town where nothing bad happens in Maple Lakes, and everybody leaves their doors open at night. Everything is safe here, but obviously if that was the case, the girls wouldn't be screaming. I really wanted to write the book in kind of response to sort of seeing what's happening to the world, and I don't understand why more girls aren't screaming. So it is a kind of a take on like looking at the pressures that young girls are under, and how they might be pushing things down in order to kind of cope. I also read this article that inspired the book about young people catching Tourette's syndrome through TikTok, and that kind of got me really interested in how mass hysteria and contagions are now happening digitally, whereas they used to always happen in kind of very confined pockets throughout history. So I spent over 8 months researching mass hysteria, social contagions, what causes them, why they're more likely to happen with girls. I also spent ages researching the science of screaming itself, which was absolutely fascinating, and just kind of put it all together in this novel. And finally, what kind of reader will enjoy And Then We Screamed? I mean, anyone who wants a spooky read. You could read this book all year round, but it's particularly great to read with a pumpkin spice latte, watching the autumn leaves fall down, where you feel like being a little bit spooked. But also any reader who wants to read about the world as it happens now, and all the things that we should be screaming about and we're not, we're just on our phones instead. It's a typical Holly Bourne book, you know, it deals with quite dark subject matter, but there's a lot of humour, there's a lot of laughs, there's a bit of romance, so hopefully lots of young people will want to scream for And Then We Screamed. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited for you guys to read it.
And we're ending with a delicious new romantasy from Witchlaw author Emma Hines. Here's Emma to tell you more.
Hi, I'm Emma Hines. I'm from Manchester and I'm the author of Night Curse. Night Curse is magical, funny, spooky, romantic and queer. My main characters are Emrys Swift, an undead teenage librarian, and his arch nemesis Aubrey Vale, a shape-shifting prodigy. The setting for Night Curse is Neverend, a magical library in the north of England where Aubrey and Emrys both live and a mystery begins to unfold. I've always been inspired by local northern folklore, and I like to call Night Curse my winter solstice book because it's inspired by the most ghoulish and ghostly aspects of British folklore. If you like gothic settings, eternal romances, and a dark academia vibe, then this book is for you. Think Laura Stevens' Our Infinite Fates meets Her Majesty's Royal Coven.
That's it. Thank you for listening. You can scan this QR code to sign up to our librarian mailing list to receive proofs, review copies and news. And my email is here if you want to get in touch about anything. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Natasha. I work at DK Children's and I'm here to present some wonderful YA books coming out later this year. So first up, we've got The Last Vampire. This is a world of romance, intrigue and forbidden love in a thrilling romantasy by New York Times and international best-selling author Romina Garber. Now, when a boarding school opens up in a once-condemned manor buried deep in the woods, Austen-loving Lorena Navarro enrolls hoping to find her own Mr. Darcy. Instead, she finds a coffin where William Pride, the world's last vampire, was sleeping. After hibernating for nearly 3 centuries, William is desperate to find his family, so he relies on Lorena not just for blood, but to help him. Soon he realizes that he is the last hope for vampires to return to power. Torn between protecting the human he's grown fond of and fulfilling his dark fate, William must make a choice. Will he sacrifice his species for love or embrace his destiny at last? And this is perfect for YA romantasy readers. It's a dual perspective novel which offers mystery, romance, and enticing vampire story. Prepared to swoon and suffer in the best way as you dive into the lives of these incredible characters set against a brooding backdrop of a fast-paced plot. And then we've got The Wonderful Sign of the Raven. This is set in a rich, imagined, alternative 19th century London with bustling smog-filled streets. It's a thrilling teen debut adventure about a secret society of lucid dreamers fighting for freedom of thought. Now, 16-year-old Ashton Threadneedle lives a double life in a world where dreams are more real than ever. By day, she works as a government messenger. By night, she escapes to vivid lucid dreams, navigating a world called the Stream. When her long-dead mother appears in a dream, Aisling discovers the stream is hiding secrets, ones that change everything she thought she knew about her past, and threaten to undo the future of everyone she loves. In her quest to find answers, she joins the Corvi Signum, a secret society of dreamers fighting to protect the stream from an insidious enemy who wants to manipulate thoughts and seize control of both London and the stream. Now, as Aisling navigates a world of dreams and danger, the only way to save her friends and fight for freedom is to unravel the mysteries of both her family and the stream. But the world of dreams is a treacherous place. Time slips backwards and forwards as easily as sand through an hourglass, and if Aisling and her fellow dreamers fail in their mission, then nowhere, either waking or sleeping, will ever be safe again. And finally, we have Niflheim. Now, there's a murderer on the island of Niflheim, but the victims don't stay dead for long. We follow Eben as he teams up with Freya, a sharp-tongued local girl, as they are up against truly terrifying creatures, masses of fur and muscle, scarlet eyes in the fog, and ancient magic. It is a story of mud, monsters, and mystery. Niflheim tackles themes of positive masculinity, explores grief, the end of childhood, and the question of what it means to be a man, something boys in this demographic we know are actively grappling with. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, welcome to First Ink's SLA Publisher Roadshow. I'm going to kick things off with Julia Alexandra's Midnight on the Celestial, which published in March. Prepare to be enchanted and terrified by Julia Alexandra's debut Enemies to Lovers horror fantasy, Midnight on the Celestial, set on a nightmarish ocean liner. Perfect for fans of Caraval and Belladonna. Next up, we have New York Times bestseller Sarah Beth Durst's YA debut. It has all the charm and whimsy of her adult novels and is sure to appeal to a crossover readership, and that published quite recently on the 9th of April. Next up, we have Ayana Gray's Hawk and Sparrow coming in October. And this has all the chemistry of divine rivals meets the glamorous society of the Gilded Age in a story about murder, magic, and who has the right to be powerful. Again, coming in October, we've got The Siren by global sensation Tomi Adeyemi. The Siren is a dark, propulsive, speculative thriller that will leave you breathless. It's an addictive and sinister examination of power and survival and the frighteningly thin lines between life and death. Coming on the 2nd of July, we've got The River She Became by Emily Varga. This is a high-stakes, action-packed romantasy where a relic hunter searches for an ancient fae object to restore the magic of her world. And of course, Emily Varga was shortlisted for the Waterstone Prize, and she is a best-selling author. And so, yeah, excited for this one. Coming in June, we've got Cindy Pham's The Secret World of Briar Rose, which is a lush and immersive queer Sleeping Beauty retelling about escapism, grief, and dreaming of a better world, as imagined, of course, by YouTube star Cindy Pham. Coming in June, Camille Chong's Love, Gods and Sinners. Her debut YA novel is an action-packed enemies to lovers urban fantasy with the sizzling rivals to lovers romance at its heart. Set in an alternate, futuristic world where descendants of ancient magical clans don secret identities and do battle on the streets of Singapore. It's had lots of great feedback from Insights Days I've been on. The kids love the cover. And here we have The Sleepless, The Beast We Raise, and A Steeping of Blood all coming out, or all have come out in paperback, and I just thought we'd give them a little mention. And that's everything. Thank you so much for listening.